Hello and welcome to Tech with Heart. I am your host, Michelle Calloway. Tech with Heart's all about empowering entrepreneurs to embrace technology, systems, and strategies that will help them stay competitive and relevant in a rapidly changing digital environment. And what better topic to talk about than SEO? And for those of you who don't know, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. So with me, I have a very special guest who's very passionate about empowering small business owners. He's created an incredible community and he's doing amazing things to come alongside and educate and support small businesses so you can crush it online through things like SEO. He talks about a lot of other stuff, but today's topic is about the 12 things that small businesses need to know about SEO. So welcome to, first of all, let me just tell you, his name is Gresham Harkless Jr. and he is the CEO of CB Nation. He's got his own community. You might want to check him out. And Blue 16 Media is his company. So please welcome to the Tech with Heart stage, Gresh.
Michelle, super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited that you're here too, because I think we're very like-minded and heart-centered in our approach to help small business owners embrace technologies. A lot of small business owners, 90% of them have said that technology itself is the biggest pain point that they have as a small business owner. So we're going to talk to them about some strategic things that they can do to start helping them to get served up as a friendly and professional entity in the eyes of the World Wide Web. So you have a course. Your course is called You Are a Media Company. So what exactly do you mean by that? And how does that relate, if it does relate to all businesses?
Yeah, I definitely think it relates to businesses in the sense just because I've always said I feel like everybody's in the media business, whether you know it or not. If you really looked at digital marketing as a whole, I often compare it to going to the grocery store and figuring out what dishes, what ingredients you want to pull into and put into your cart to create that dish that you want. So I always usually talk about sweet potato pie, and as it's getting a little cooler, that's my favorite dish that my mom makes. And I always say that if you're trying to figure out what ingredients you want to put into your cart to make whatever it is, sweet potato pie, chocolate cake, banana pudding, whatever might be your thing, you want to make sure that you put the right ingredients into the cart. And those ingredients are all the tools that are out there. You're talking about SEO being one of them that we're going to talk about a little bit more, but you're also talking about TikTok, Instagram. You're talking about email marketing, face-to-face marketing, podcasts, blogs. These are all ingredients that could be really essential to helping you to really crush it, to connect with your ideal client, to really reach your goals. So it's so important that you understand the kind of the pros and cons of each of them so that you can put the right quote unquote ingredients, use the right platforms, use the right marketing strategies so that you can reach your ideal clients and customers and crush those goals.
So essentially all businesses are media businesses, especially in the realm of online. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree with that.
Agreed. I agree too. So yeah, one of the things that we focus on through Tech with Heart Entrepreneurial Network is to help people crush it online, because there's a huge difference between doing the old brick and mortar, having people walk through that door versus trying to stand out in a sea of digital noise, right? So that's what's happening in the World Wide Web. And so with that said, how important is it to understand how the World Wide Web works and how you do get served up when people are searching for anything related to what it is that you're offering?
It's huge. And I think that we forget about marketing being a psychological thing, that you're trying to connect with, brands and organizations sometimes if you're in the B2B world, but even if you are in the B2B world, or you're also in the B2C world, you're connecting with humans. You're trying to connect with them. You want them to, patronize your business online, or you want them to fill out your form or complete that chat, whatever that action might be. So it's so important that you pay attention to that human aspect of business, as I like to say, so that you can understand that you are using marketing, you're all using technology as a way by which you can communicate and hopefully get those people to come through your door, even if it's virtually.
Agreed. That's kind of what Tech with Heart's all about, helping entrepreneurs and small business owners realize that you have to embrace technology in order to make it in an online world, which is pretty much what we're fully encompassed in now. But then also, to keep that human connection and gain, and desire as the focus of how you use that technology, but understanding enough about how the World Wide Web tech world works. Not that you have to get into the weeds or anything. You just need to kind of understand some basic principles. And I know that that's why you're going to go over 12 tips now. You're going to start talking to small business owners about the 12 things that they can do pretty easily without necessarily having to hire a specialist. But yes, these are things that you can indeed hire a specialist to help you with, because these are the things that it's kind of like the old school yellow pages. These are the things that are going to help you get eyeballs on your media content. So please just lay it out for us, Gresh. Just 1 through 12. Hit us.
Absolutely. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is really understanding Google. And a lot of times when I talk about SEO, I'm talking about search engine optimization, I'm talking about how to be found. The first thing that people want to do is jump to their computer and say, okay, what do I have to do to help and make sure that I'm found? The first tip that I have is actually not about jumping to the computer. It's actually about just understanding what Google is there for. And I think once you get into the understanding of, first of all, the people that you're trying to target, but also the business by which you're trying to hopefully optimize for, you start to really understand a little bit more about what Google is doing and why they're doing it. And it'll kind of lay the foundation for all of the steps. So when you understand Google, you understand that Google is really about helping people to find what they're looking for as quickly and accurately as possible. Google wants there to be some type of action, some type of transaction, whether that be buying, whether that be spending time, whether that be clicking and listening to a podcast or whatever it might be. So the more that you're able to accurately provide that value for your ideal clients, the people that are potentially searching for your content or your pages, that's really going to help you to rank higher overall. So, but again, before we get into like a lot of the kind of nuts and bolts, and I won't get too deep into it, but I want to, gloss over and touch on some of that so you understand that. I want you to know that really think about what is a really great user experience for me. If I go to a new state and I'm looking for a pizza place and I Google and I find that it's Chinese food, that's not a great experience. And I wouldn't use that search engine anymore. So understand that Google's really in the business of serving to people the things that they're looking for as quickly, accurately as possible. So a lot of these principles will really go, in depth more about that. So again, understand what Google is all about and why it exists. The next thing is know what you want to rank for. And one of the big misconceptions I think that I see a lot of small businesses do is unless your business name is kind of generic, like it might be, Susie's quilting shop or something along those lines. If it's kind of a more general brand, you're going to want to try to rank for something outside of your company name. So for example, I'm in the Alexandria, Washington, D.C. area. So a lot of times people might say Washington, D.C. Home inspector. That's their company name, but that has your keywords there. But if you are Gresh's or Michelle's home inspection company, you want to make sure that you're not just ranking for your brand name. You want to rank for the keywords that you're hoping people will find. So again, you go through that exercise even before you get on the computer of like, what do I provide? What's my product and service? How are people potentially searching for it? What are potentially some other things that might be closely related that people are searching for? So home inspection, some people might think that it's home remodeling. So you want to just really think about all the potential keywords that you could potentially rank for. Not to say you have to optimize your pages and posts for them, but again, it's just a really good exercise because you always want to think that SEO is all about being there when people are ultimately searching. And so the third thing is having a location for where you want to rank. One of the biggest things, especially for local businesses, is that we forget about that while the people that we have as clients and customers might know we're ranked in a certain area, the internet may not necessarily know that. So going back to that number one, understanding Google, understanding that Google has kind of like a language, so to speak, that you want to try to translate your content, your posts, your products and services into so that Google understands what it is that you do. One of those big things that people forget about is their location. If you are a local business, and especially if you want to rank in the Washington, D.C. area, or you want to rank in, Houston, Texas, or whatever it might be, you're going to make sure that you have and are optimizing not just for the home inspector part, but the home inspector in Washington, D.C., home inspector in Houston, Texas, home inspector in California. You really want to make sure that you're doing the state, but really start to drill down and think about different cities. Think about counties, think about all these different areas that you can serve. And really you start to see that those searches could be infinite. So you go through that exercise of those just three kind of pillar things, and those will really help you to start to go through the exercise of figuring out what people are ultimately ranking for. And with that being said, the next thing I want to talk about is the riches are in the niches. And I don't know if you've heard this, phrase before, Michelle, but I know so many times that people want to really understand like how and what the opportunity are in SEO, and those opportunities are in the niches. So when you're thinking of home inspector, you might realize that it is a lot more competitive to try to rank for that. So maybe you're going to create a blog post, or maybe you create a podcast or a video that talks a little bit more about the value of home inspectors, because every time you go to a client, they might ask you, what's the reason for having a home inspector? When do I get a home inspector? What are the most important parts that I need to give to someone that's doing a home inspection? These are questions that people have, and those are the niches that you can start to rank for, because more than likely, the people that you're quote unquote competing against don't and aren't spending time in those niches. So you want to make sure that you're working on that. I always say that content is royalty. So making sure that you have quality content is going to be one of the biggest things. And I think the content is something that is kind of like sticky paper for people that are searching. So I talked about the blogs, I talked about videos, I talked about all those things. And it's so important to have that sticky paper on your site. Generally speaking, the more pages and posts you have, the more sticky paper you have, the more likely somebody is going to be attracted to not as necessarily the home page, but potentially that blog post or that page or that post, whatever it might be. Those are the things that are going to definitely, attract people, to those pages of the site. I kind of alluded to number 6, which is that SEO is just one aspect of marketing. But really what I love about SEO is that it really takes into account just about everything you're doing online. So like I mentioned about going to the grocery store, getting the ingredients, put them into the cart. Understand that SEO is not the only way to market, but it is a way of marketing that includes a lot of other aspects of how you're marketing. So if you've been featured on podcasts, if you've had press releases, if you created blog posts, if you've done all those things, what Google does is it starts to comb the internet for all the things you're doing online to understand exactly what it is that you've done. So understand that content is extremely important when you're creating it on your site, but it's also important on things that you're doing off the site as well too. So that's just, another one of the things that you want to try to take into account. And when you go to a page, understand that you see the things that you see as far as like what and how a site shows up. But search engines send out things called spiders, and these spiders will basically comb the internet and look for what these pages are about. So there's things on the back end of your site. They're called title tag and meta description, and I won't get too much in depth about those things, but all they're essentially doing is, again, translating the pages and posts of your site to make sure that you are showing that specific information. So if you want to really understand like how your pages are reflecting not just to yourself but to search engines, you can look at the title tag and meta description and get an idea. They have limits related to the amount of characters, but all you really need to know is that these will help you to summarize what it is on that page so that Google understands what's on the page, and that will attract the people to those specific pages on your site. And I talked a little bit about, content. There's something that's called off page, which is the number 8, tip that I have. Know that a really strong off page content strategy is going to really help. And really what I want you to think about is not saying, how do I get these backlinks? How do I get the right backlinks and all of those things, which is definitely a part of SEO. Just think about basically places that your target clients are. How can you get in front of them? So that might be being on podcasts. It might be the opportunity to have press releases. It might be being active in your local chamber of commerce. Basically, you get backlinks that are links that are not on your site going back to your site as a whole. So when you have a listing that's on your local chamber of commerce, that's going to link back to your site. That's going to increase your reputation. When you are featured on this podcast or you get a press release because you were covered by the local news, all these are links that are going back to your site. It's going to increase your reputation. It's going to increase the ranking of your site. And then it's going to hopefully drive home, more clients and customers to your door. But, don't get too much into the weeds about like what backlinks, what are backlinks, what do I do? Just think about your activity online, just like you would go in person to maybe, multiple networking and groups. Think about how you can be active online and getting featured by other people. So that's also a major part of what Google is having to do. And one of the biggest questions, especially around content that I get, is around just how consistent that how much do you need to post? And I say with number 9, consistency is the most important thing. So I don't want to necessarily say that, quantity is not important, but I think the quality with the consistency is the thing that you want to shoot for. If you decide that you're going to write 12 blog posts, commit to that 12 blog posts and make sure that you're writing them on a monthly basis and you're releasing them on a monthly basis. Just like I talked about the sticky paper of people that are going to your site, that's going to be the sticky paper. The consistency of you creating that content is going to help out as far as you ranking. It attracts the Google spiders. It attracts them to crawl your site and find out what's on your site. But if you don't do that with consistency, then your site can be, rather dormant and your site's not being crawled, as much as it could be. So again, just want to make sure that you stay consistent more than anything else. You hear that in any aspect of digital marketing. And the really big part that I kind of alluded to is while we understand the product and services that we have, start to think about how people that don't know who you are or your brand are going to be searching for you. Think about those key search terms, those products and services, those maybe even misconceptions. If you are talking with a client and you hear over and over again that I don't understand the difference between, 2 different items, and that they don't really have a full firm handling on what exactly you're doing. You want to make sure that you're creating some type of content related to that. You're really starting to think about people that need what you provide, but don't necessarily know how to articulate it, are able to find those pages on your site or blog posts or whatever content that you might be creating. Number 11 is really about creating that, long-term marketing strategy. Understand that SEO is a long-term marketing ingredient. It's one of those ingredients that you will usually take a long-term approach. It's not going to happen instantly like an ad. It's very different from Google Ads. It's very different from Google My Business, Google Business Profiles is called now. But understand that these are 3 different ways that you can kind of interact with Google. But SEO in and of itself is a very usually long-term approach. So when you're thinking about, working on it, don't say that I did it wrong because you did something yesterday. Just understand it's something that's going to take, time for you to kind of see those fruits. But understand, I always make the comparison to it being kind of like building a house. So once you put those bricks on, you continue to build it and build it and build it. And I always believe, because people are searching for what it is that you do, you never stop with kind of like your SEO strategy.
Being able to do business online is crucial for survival, especially during times of social distancing. So how do you survive and thrive in the sea of digital noise? It's a lot like fishing. You need to know who your perfect customer is so that you could use the right kind of lure to attract them. We help you catch your perfect customer and retain them for future sales through highly converting websites, influencer mobile apps, getting you featured in the news and on TV. Hi, my name is Jerry Bowden, U.S. Army veteran and president of Revealio Software Solutions. Our goal is to help you rise above the competition, be seen as an expert authority in your industry, and embrace technology to stay competitive for long-term success. It's more affordable than you may think. So reach out to us at revealio.com, and together we will make your business come alive.
The last thing that I've kind of touched on is one of the biggest activities that I would kind of have you do if you are thinking about creating like content for your blog. Ask your clients what things, or pay attention to things that clients are saying over and over again that might be potential questions. If they're asking like, how do you do X, Y, and Z? How do you do SEO? What are the biggest technological things that I should know about for 2023? These are questions that can be really valuable blog posts, and you can, do some really, cool things with Google, because Google has so much information. You can literally go to Google and search. If you've ever searched and Google completes your sentence before you actually get a chance to write it out, they're doing that because a lot of people are searching for that. So again, you can ask your clients, you can go to Google itself, but again, do those things just so that you have an idea of, first of all, like what people are searching for, so that you can make sure that you're there when people are searching. So hopefully I didn't go through too much in depth, but there's 12 things that I would definitely recommend that you look into.
No, that was super jam-packed of value. And so we appreciate you doing that for us. And when we do the recording, post-production, we'll also put those tips on the screen. So that'll help anybody that's watching to just jot those notes down. But yeah, all of that's so valuable. The idea here is that, yes, you are a media company, but understanding how those spiders and crawlers work and how to use certain keywords, understanding what keywords your audience is looking for, all these things are so critical. And you just really kind of helped us to understand that there's many things that we can be doing to help improve our own SEO along the way, right? So you have a web team, then great. Ask your web team to make sure that they're doing those meta descriptions properly and the header tags. And also I'm going to throw in, make sure that you add an alt text to all of your images, because that also will help with your SEO, and it will also help your site to be more ADA compliant here in the United States. So remember, not everybody's able to see, just like walking through the doors of your like brick and mortar business. You need to make it accessible to those who have visual or audible disabilities. And I know Revealio, which is my for-profit, we offer a free widget that does help with some of those issues. If you want, you can reach out and you can get that widget for free for your website. Anyway, all of this was valuable. I'm going to ask you, Gresh, how can people reach out to you if they would like to connect with you or your community? Because your content is so awesome. I would love to just keep referring it from the Tech with Heart Network, because it just really, you're serving the same audience. Yeah. So how can they reach out to you per se?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that, Michelle. And you can definitely reach out to me. I have a site, iamgresh.com. That's iamgresh.com. That has links to Blue 16 Media, cbnation.co, the podcast, and all of those. You can also check out blue16media.com. That has everything too. That's blue, number 1, number 6, media.com. But that has links to everything. So if anything's of interest, if I can provide value, definitely please let me know.
Yeah, that's so great that you provide all this value. And that's one of the things Tech with Heart wants to do, is provide a lot of insights to help empower a small business owner to start gravitating towards understanding tech, embracing tech, and then perhaps working with somebody like Gresh or his team, or Tech with Heart and our team, to help you to implement these things into your business. Understanding it is the first part, right? And then who do you trust? So we are both very heart-centered. We're here to serve. That's why we're showing up here today for this interview as well. So Gresh, what is a phrase or a thought that you would love to leave impressioned upon anybody that's tuning into this episode right now?
Absolutely. So I'm a big quote person, and the biggest thing that I'll say related to SEO is don't skate to where the puck is, skate to where the puck's going to be. That's from Wayne Gretzky, and it's one of the things that you can kind of look to approach SEO, figuring out where people are searching and be there when they're searching.
I love it. Be there when they need you. Perfecto. So if you're tuning in today and you are a business expert who believes that you have valuable insight in which a small business owner can latch onto and grow their online business, please consider reaching out to techwithheartnetwork.com and asking for an interview. We would love to have you share your expertise. And if you are a small business owner who just really wants a nice, warm, nurturing community of forward-thinking entrepreneurs to grow alongside you, to encourage you, to help you stay accountable, and to just give you this information that'll help you start, implementing certain systems into your tech side of your business that will help you grow, please, again, go to techwithheartnetwork.com, join our community for free, or upgrade and get promoted within our community as the expert and shine like the rock star that you are. Go to techwithheartnetwork.com. We'd love to have you. Thanks for tuning in today. Here's to your success.
Embracing technology is a must. How you use it creates impact. Tech with Heart Foundation offers education and support, allowing entrepreneurs, small business owners, and students to become competitive in ever-changing tech environments. Our nonprofit provides expert business insights, live events and masterminds, apprenticeships for minority and underserved students, and mentoring and leadership training. We need donors, sponsors, and partners. Learn more at techwithheartfoundation.org.